Now, President Joe Biden will address the nation, the United States, that is, today, ending his bid for... No, I'm sure he'll be delighted if anyone else is listening. But this is after he ended his bid for a second term just 4 months shy of the election.
Yes, the 81-year-old took to X, or Twitter, saying he will address what lies ahead and how he will finish the job for the American people. This, of course, follows days of speculation and questions asking just where the president had been.
Well, joining us now is Joe Biden's former Chief of Staff, Susan Platt. Thank you, sir, for joining us so early in the morning for the United States of America. Susan,
yes, it is.
Why haven't we seen Joe Biden since he made his announcement? Not a photograph, just one phone call.
Well, he's had COVID, and I think, we know you have to isolate when you have COVID, but I believe people saw him yesterday boarding Air Force One and entering the White House, and so he's ready to go for his speech tonight, and I think we're all excited to hear what he has to say on how he wants to complete his term and what he needs to finish the job, as he says.
Well, you've worked for him yourself. What do you expect him to tell the nation?
I think that he will tell the nation, and I know that we all who have worked with him and love him know this, that he cares deeply about our country. He cares deeply about our rights, and that he wants to move forward and make it easier for average Americans to not just to get ahead, but get ahead as much as they can on his watch in terms of being inclusive and making a better living for their families, more education, and remaining with our rights. Kamala Harris is talking about, she is a perfect prosecutor for this case because she's talking about moving forward with our rights, not getting them taken away as Donald Trump has tried to do and has done.
There'll be plenty of people who think that it's right that Joe Biden steps aside for his vice president in this race, that he's looking a bit more tired than he did 4 years ago. He clearly isn't as sharp with his speech as he was 4 years ago. But there are some who say if he can't stand in this presidential election and he's not able to be as quick-witted as perhaps he once was, why can he continue in the job of president right through until January next year? There is some discussion that the 25th Amendment could be invoked.
Well, the Republican lies and deception machine is working at overtime on all this. While he will no longer be a candidate for president, he and I think there was a concern that would he be able to handle the task, the job for the next 4 years? Should he be reelected? We've answered that question. He's answered that question. And he's fully capable and fully vigorous now, back recovered from COVID, to move forward in the next 6 months and to help his vice president win election as our president in January for inauguration.
And should we turn to Kamala Harris? It looks likely that she'll be the one facing off with Donald Trump for the big job in the States. There's been a lot made of her decision to skip a Congress meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, of course. Was that a snub? And does this indicate that perhaps there will be a change in policy towards the Middle East, specifically towards Israel, if she does become president?
Well, last I've heard was she is intending to meet with him. I believe it's tomorrow, but I could be wrong, as is President Biden. And I think, Joe Biden's been working very hard to work out some sort of agreement to end this conflict in Gaza. And I'm sure she will follow suit with him.
It's obviously not an easy decision to reach, to throw the towel in on the most powerful job in the world. What will those discussions behind the scenes have been like with Joe Biden? Obviously, there had been private meetings with Congress people. Nancy Pelosi, clearly a key factor there. Why did it take so long?
Well, it's a big decision. It's a big job. And I think he had to make considerations of his family and the country. And he ultimately, I don't think it will matter in the long run how it took him 2 or 3 weeks to come to the conclusion. It's fine. I think right now we've got the momentum and the timing is perfect. The momentum is on our side.
The timing is perfect.
I have never seen Democrats.
This has thrown the Democratic Party into the lurch. There's not enough time to have a Democratic primary now. And Kamala Harris will be untested as a candidate. She didn't. Not a single vote was cast for Kamala Harris in 2020 in those primaries.
Of course it will. Well, she's been Joe Biden's partner, and they were both elected to the office of president and vice president. And if you watched her give her barn burner of her speech yesterday, she is clearly up to the job of prosecuting the case against Donald Trump. And as she mentioned, she's prosecuted predators, fraudsters, and cheaters, of which he is all three.
Susan, you must admit there may well be some disappointed Democrats out there that they don't have a choice here.
Well, they elected delegates to the convention. The delegates have voted. The majority has voted to make her our nominee. And I think everybody's just thrilled as they can be. You know, her campaign raised over $81 million in 48 hours with, I think, something like 400,000 more volunteers. So that speaks for itself, and it speaks volumes about how people feel about Kamala Harris being our nominee.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the sort of social media wave behind Kamala Harris, all of the meme videos, the viral TikToks. It seems like perhaps she's a lightened Generation Z in a way that perhaps Joe Biden never could. But there are legitimate questions now of who is the real Kamala Harris. In 2020, when she ran for the position of Democrat nominee, she wanted to institute a Green New Deal of trillions of dollars of spending. She wanted to, in some cases, defund police departments, and indeed she wanted universal healthcare for all Americans. Does she hold any of those positions today?
I don't believe she ever said anything about defunding the police department. That's just a complete distortion from the MAGA side of the Republican Party. She has been Joe Biden's partner for 3.5 years. They have done amazing things by all standards for this country and for our standard of living and our rights, and she'll continue to do that. Should she be elected? Now, it's going to be a close election, as they all are anymore, but I guarantee you she's got the momentum right now. The Democrats have united at warp speed, and we're ready to go.
Well, it does appear she's ahead with the current polling anyway, the very latest. Thank you very much, Susan Platt. Really great to have you on, Joe Biden's former chief of staff.
Yeah, really interesting to see how that will go forward. Obviously, it can be the case that Kamala is ahead in the popular vote, but behind in the states.